Hello and welcome back, everyone. I am Mark Thompson, and these are Alteryx tutorials. Today's session, we're going to be covering weekly challenge number 181, and we have a large text file. As you can see down here, we have 128,000 records. And what we want to do is we want to count every single word in the document and understand how many words and what percentage each word makes up. When we're done, we're hoping to have something that looks like this, which is here's the word, and here's the count of how many times it showed up, and what percentage of the total that it makes. And you can see this is 38,000 records. So we have 38,000 different words in this file. Let's go ahead and jump on in. As I said, we have a rather large text file. And the first thing we want to do is we want to clean it up. We don't need all these blanks. We don't need all the garbage. We've got 128,000 records here, so we can't possibly go through and do any kind of a manual scrub on this. So we use the data cleaning tool, and that comes from the preparation menu. And we're going to remove any null rows. We're going to replace any other nulls we're going to replace with blanks, replace with zeros if it's numeric, leading and trailing white space, tab, line blanks, line breaks, and duplicate white space. And as you can see, that already cuts us down to 103,000 records from the 128. Next, we're going to just autofield this. That's to size it up so that it has the correct size. Now, something I should mention here, with this large text file, you don't know how big each line is going to be. And so one of the things you want to be sure of is that you've got a field length over here that's 2,600 records. That way, or 2,600 characters. That way it doesn't truncate any of the information that you've got in the file. Now you can go through and test, and maybe you start out with 5,000 and bring it down to 3. And then when you get a message here that you've run your process flow and data is being truncated, that's probably where you want to push it up from that so that none of your data is truncated. And then this auto field will come in and it'll size it correctly. Next, we're going to take this file and all of its lines and all of the words on the lines, and we're going to throw a regex on here. And we're going to field 1. And we're going to do by word. That's how you indicate words in regex. And we're going to tokenize it. And we're going to split that into rows. And you can see here, when we do that, we've got over 1,115,000. Next, and this is, I've done this before, but it's strictly an example to say, hey, if you've done this much of your flow and you like and you're happy with it, you can right click and go cache and run. And what that'll do is it'll put a cache on all of these front ones. Now, the difference in timing on this particular run, you can see this. We've only, this only takes 5.8 seconds. So it's not saving to run that. Now, if I rerun it, how much time is it going to take? Great. Now it takes 2 seconds. So it cut it in half. 5 seconds to 2 seconds doesn't matter, but it allows me to demonstrate the technique so that when you have a bigger process flow and you don't want to have to run the whole thing and that time is significant, then you can go ahead and cache the flow and start from somewhere in the middle and figure out how to work back through the rest of the process. Next, if there are any null words in our list, words is not null, right? So from here, you can see that we got rid of 143 records. Not significant, but we don't need them in there. Next thing we do is we're going to summarize it. We're going to summarize it 2 different ways. Here, we're going to get the total count. Since we want to know the percentages, we need a numerator and a denominator, right? Total words is going to be our denominator. So here we go with 1,150. What do we got here? 1,115,585. And then here we're going to take and we're going to summarize. We're going to group by words and we're going to count them. So as we go along here and we see words, And numbers in this case are considered and grouped along with the words and how many we've got. Next, we're going to sort this in a descending order. What it's by our count. Count, descending. The, of, and. It makes sense that those kind of filler words are the most frequent. Next, we're going to take and we're going to add on that 1,115,585, and we're going to use the append tool. And you can see from here, we append that, and now we've got that on every record. Easy enough to next put on a formula tool, and we actually calculate it out in this row, and then because you can't change, if you simply identify the same row here, you can't change the type. But we want to turn this fixed decimal into a string so that we can do all pretty with the percentage sign. So in one column, we do the calculation of the count, divide it by the count, and then we multiply it by 100. And then we turn that into a string, and we round the number, and we put that percentage sign on. So we round the number here. That's the number part. We turn that to a string, that part, and then we essentially concatenate. We add on the percentage sign at the end of it. So this is for presentation purposes. And then lastly, let's go ahead and clean it up. We no longer need the source count or the percent total calculated, and we now have the words and the count and the percent total per. All right, I am Mark Thompson. These have been Alteryx tutorials. If you like what you see, as always, hit like, hit share, tell your friends about it, and we always welcome any comments you have. Hope you are having a great day. We will see you next time.